Joel, we're back and we are talking today about new account startups, what it takes, what's involved.
That is one of my favorite topics because every cleaning contractor loves when they have a new account because it takes a lot to get there.
I understand the adventure of closing the deal.
Oh, my favorite rush.
So, account startups.
Yes.
What's involved? What does the new business owner, what does the cleaning company owner need to watch out for?
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
No,
There's no safe place here.
There's no safe place, no safe zone. With new accounts, typically a building service contractor, when they get a new account, they get it because the building is dirty. Mm-hmm. They have typically an unhappy prospect who is now a very encouraged and happy new customer expecting very high level of service on the first night.
Their expectation is at the roof.
At the roof, at the day of.
Okay.
You go, you pick up the keys, you get the alarm codes, you find out where the dumpster is, all the little, hey, don't forget about this, all those little things that a new client will tell you because they're so excited.
Everybody's happy. Clearly the sun rises and sets on the new cleaning company.
Even a lot of the individuals that are in the building that had nothing to do with the signing of the contract find out because the word spreads that there's a new cleaning company. And when they're walking out of a building and they're seeing you come in, they're like, oh, you guys are the new cleaning company. So even the expectation level, and they don't even know what the scope of work is.
Oh, my. Okay.
There's that high expectation on the front end. So as the building service contractor, have you set an appropriate expectation for the next day?
Oh, okay.
If it's so bad and they don't want to do what I call an impact clean, which is to do a deep cleaning on the very first night of service, then it's going to take a long time to catch up in order to make the building look like what the scope of work is, because there's a lot of time that's involved. Typically on a first night, I tell anybody if you've bid it for 10 hours a night, you're probably going to spend at least 20 hours on that first night. It's almost double the hours.
How does your customer, not the cleaning customer, but your customer feel about getting that news if they haven't considered that?
It's sticker shock. Mm-hmm. Because you tell them the first night's cleaning and you're talking about that before the contract signed, but you're trying to explain to them the importance of what that first night and set a realistic expectation is. This is where you want the building to be. This is what it's going to take to get there. And then they'll say, I don't want it. And then you just start with the base contract and you're trying to catch up and the expectation, they're all excited the night before and they come in. Well, the trash got dumped and it looks like they vacuumed the carpets, but they didn't get to all areas. It deflates really quick.
Sure.
So if you can get that impact clean and take care of a building, that's great. And it doesn't always happen. So when you have a client that doesn't want that, you have to delicately balance how many extra hours are you going to put into that front end work. Plus you have the cost of all the equipment. Because if you're a growing company, you don't necessarily have vacuums and mop buckets, all the durable, expensive pieces of equipment that are just sitting around. You might have lost an account and you have something that you can reuse and that'll help you offset the front end.
Sure. But
who wants to come in with a beat up vacuum cleaner? You usually want to start off with a good looking vacuum cleaner at a bare minimum.
Okay.
So buying a good industrial one that might be a backpack and could run into the thousands of dollars. If you're using riding equipment, auto scrubbers, if that's what the account is, again, there's a lot of money up front because there's cash on delivery. You have to balance the cost of equipment with the cost of labor, which is your highest cost, and you're trying to maintain the customer's expectations after the first night's cleaning.
Let me ask the most obvious question to me. You're addressing this with your customer, the person who owns the cleaning company. Is that conversation ever, first visit should be this much? It kind of sounds like a balloon payment because we're going to do way more on the first visit or two. Or should setting their customers' expectations be, this is going to take a lot of time to correct. So for the first month, we're going to put in some extra time every week to chip it away and then say, we're here now. Or should they just eat it? What do you recommend when you're talking to your customer, the cleaning company owner?
Of course, I want to get more money for that first night impact clean, but so many people are so budget conscious that they're like, look, if it takes you a month, that's okay. Which is funny because it really isn't okay. So you need to add additional hours, even if they're not looking to pay for it. And you're going to have to eat those hours, because long-term client satisfaction results in referrals. It's going to result in good open communication, because if you have a laundry list of complaints after the first night with that client, all that excitement the day before has just been squashed, and they see you no different than anybody else. And they say, why are we paying more for this company? And it's after the first clean and they're not much better. So you got to focus on the details, which is an upcoming podcast. You need to make sure that the bags are tied off, the knots are tucked, that the baskets go back in the same place that the client placed them. Don't move them on the client, because that's going to cause dissatisfaction, even if they look better. You got to wipe the cans, because most of the time there's been spills in the past and there's odors coming out of the insides. There's that type of work. And there's fingerprints on the fronts of their desks. There's coffee spills. There's rings on the desktop from soda, from coffee, whatever.
All the things that were ignored and that got the previous company fired.
Not to mention all the cobwebs that aren't being taken care of, and the 3 inches of dust on the partitions, because it hasn't been dusted since 1948.
You just made me laugh before we started. You called it the Frankenstein is gone. I had no idea what that meant.
Yeah, the Frankenstein's castle. That's what we all call it. Or a lot of us, at least in, upstate New York, we call it the Frankenstein castle look.
So folks, I'm going to encourage you, if you are looking at starting up new accounts, when you're looking at starting up new accounts, that you contact Joel. He has so much experience in doing this, helping you to communicate both with your customer and your team to set expectations on what it's going to take to bring an account, maintain an account, and keep it profitable for the long term. Joel, thank you.
You're welcome.